Welcome on into the All Aussie Rules YouTube channel. We've got another mid-season review coming your way today. It's the 2025 Adelaide Crows mid-season review. We're going to take a look at how their season's going, all their best players, and what we expect to see from them in the remainder of season 2025. So sit back and enjoy. Welcome on into the All Aussie Rules YouTube channel. We've got another 2025 mid-season review coming your way. Today, it's the Adelaide Crows. As each team gets to their bye, we're doing a little mid-season review for that team. About a 15, 20, 25 minute video coming your way today, as it has been with each team so far. Go check them all out on the YouTube channel. Plenty of content there. This is like the 8th last one, so most of the teams are starting to be on the channel, so go check them out. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoy it. Hit that subscribe button and the noti bell so you don't miss any videos. And let me know down in the comments below how you see Adelaide Crows' second half of the season going. Without any further ado, we're going to jump into 2025 for the Crows and have a look at how they've gone so far. Once we've done that, we'll have a look at their players, and then we'll finish this episode off with a look at what they still have to come in 2025 and maybe where we can see them finishing. So this is their season so far. Obviously, they had the bye-in opening round. Their first game of the season was round 1, home game against St Kilda. And they got a 63-point win, really solid start to the year. Couldn't have drawn it up better, really. It was pretty much perfect for them. Week 2 went just about as well. They won that one by 61 points at the MCG against the Bombers. That was like 161 to 100. Massively high scoring game. Round 3 was North Melbourne at Adelaide Oval. It wasn't the most convincing win of their season, but it got the job done. 36-point winners that day. Then it had its first little falter over the next couple of weeks. Gold Coast at People First Stadium by 1 point they lost by. And then during gather round against Geelong, they were comfortably up in the first half and ended up losing it by 19 points in about an 8 or 9 goal turnaround in the second half. Geelong were really on that day. I mean, Geelong are looking like a really solid team this season as well. So you kind of have to accept that, I guess. Hopefully there's not too much background noise here. It is absolutely pouring down outside. Round 6 was GWS, a low-scoring affair in the wet at home. And the Crows got the job done by 18 points in one of their better wins of the season. It was low-scoring, it wasn't pretty, but they got the job done. Before another loss, this one to Freo over in the West by 18 points. So they'd lost 3 out of 4 at this point, and it was like, are we convinced about them? Are we not? Who knows? But they turned it around the next 2 weeks, both at Adelaide Oval. First, Carlton by 60 points, where they absolutely destroyed them. And then round 9, Port Adelaide in the showdown. They got the 5-point win. Once again, not the most convincing game. Port Adelaide absolutely dominated the last 10-15 minutes of that game, but just couldn't kick a goal. Round 10 was back to Melbourne MCG, and they had a 10-point loss against Collingwood, who sit on top of the ladder, so it's not a bad loss, that one, certainly at the MCG. Round 11 was West Coast at Adelaide Oval. They won it by 66 points. Then they had their most dominant win of the season against last year's runners-up in Sydney at the SCG. 90-point winners, absolute domination. Brisbane at the Adelaide Oval, last year's premiers. They knocked them off by 5 points. Brisbane wasted a lot of opportunities, but Adelaide were effective and got the job done. Round 14 was last weekend. It was cold. It was Friday night footy in Tassie against Hawthorn, and they lost it by 3 points after leading, not massively because it was a low-scoring game, but they certainly led a fair chunk of that game. They'll be pretty disappointed that they didn't hold on for the win. Matches, they've played 14 games, obviously. 9 wins, 5 losses, really solid record, 135.2%. Currently, at time of recording, a 4th on the ladder. There obviously are games this weekend, and they're not playing this weekend, so we'll see where they are after that. Record against the top 8 teams, 2 wins, 5 losses. Those 2 wins came against GWS and Brisbane, so both really solid wins. Both of those at Adelaide Oval, though. 5 losses against top 8 teams. All 5 of their losses, in fact, have been against top 8 teams currently on the ladder. Only one of them was at home, which was the Geelong one. The rest have been Gold Coast on the Gold Coast, Fremantle over in the West, Collingwood in Melbourne, and Hawthorn down in Tassie. Which means that their record against the bottom 10 is 7-0 with a really high percentage as well. So they are really good so far this year at beating the teams they need to beat. They just need to find a way to get wins against some of these top teams. I mean, they've been very close in all of them. You look at their losing margins, 1 point, 3 points, 10 points, 18, 19. All 5 losses under 20 points, 2 of them inside of a kick. So I don't think there's any real worries about them against the good teams. They're certainly competitive in all of those games. When you consider that you're getting within a kick or so of an opposition, it means that you've played a pretty solid game of football. And if things just go slightly different, you could certainly win that one. A look at some of the key stats for the Crows. Offensively, 3rd highest scoring team in the competition. They're having an outstanding season in terms of offense. Especially early days, they were scoring very high. There's been a couple games where there's been really low scoring. You look at the GWS and the Hawthorn games. Both very low scoring. Brisbane one wasn't massively high either. Defensively, number 2 in the competition, only behind Collingwood. So far, those numbers are looking pretty solid for them. When their offense is on, they're absolutely flying. I think the fact that they're second in defense scoring is due a lot to the fact that they've played in those couple really low scoring games. Some other stats worth looking at. They have the second best rebound percentage, rebound 50 percentage in the AFL, only behind GWS, who are well known to give up lots of 50s and to get it out of there quite a lot. So that just shows that they have an ability to defend better than maybe I give them credit for. Second most amount of meters gained per game in the competition. They have a really high turnover and clanger percentage compared to a lot of teams, which is the one bad stat that we have for them, I guess. Just maybe need to find a way to tidy that up a little bit, giving their opposition a few too many turnovers, but they're really good at defending when they do turn it over. So that is a positive for them. If you look at scoring from turnover, they're number 1 in the competition so far this season. So that's a really good stat for them. Pretty much all the good teams at the moment this year are scoring really well from turnover. Adelaide doing it better than anyone else, number 1. And they're also number 1 at scoring from the defensive half in the competition. So the stats look really good across the board for Adelaide. And if you look defensively, all of their strong points offensively are also their strong points defensively. They don't concede too much from turnover, and they don't concede at all from the defensive half compared to every other team. So some really good numbers when you look at in depth at the Adelaide Crows so far this season. We'll jump into our player analysis and have a look at position by position. We'll start in the back line with the key defenders and how they're going, I guess. The defence is probably where they don't have as much star power. You look through their midfield and their forward line, they have a lot of star power. Probably not as much of it down back, but they are getting the job done so far. Josh Worrell and Mark Keane have both played 14 games apiece. Josh Worrell's having a really good season, 11th best key defender so far according to the All Aussie Rules rating system, which puts him in that top class category. Mark Keane's in the average category, so they're both going well. After that, it's a bit of a drop off. Nick Murray's played 4, Jordan Butts 7, and James Borley has played 2. All of them either don't have a ranking or in the below average category. Just a little explanation on that. Elite is the top 10% of each position. Top class is 10 to 25. Above average is 25 to 40. Average is 40 to 60. And everyone below that is below average. If you have not played 5 games, you will not be ranked. That's 5 games of at least 50%. Games that have less than 50% game time are discounted from this system. So that just gives you a snapshot, I guess, of where the Crows are at. Their key defenders, I guess. I think James Worrell's showing some good signs. I think Mark Keane's solid without being outstanding so far this year. I think he could do slightly better. I've seen better from him. Moving into general defenders, Brodie Smith's only played the 4 games, so currently is unranked, but he has the highest rating. He's been pretty solid down there so far for them, so I think we'll see if he continues to get games. That might really help them with their launch, which is something they've been really good at this season. You look at Rory Laird, he's top class, he's 15th best general defender. Mitchell Hinge plays a bit of a hybrid role at times, key defender, general defender. Average class, playing good football, nothing outstanding. Wayne Malira, similar sort of story. And then Michael Lanny, currently below average. I think he's definitely got the potential to be better than that, but that's where he sits at the moment after 14 rounds. Moving into the forward line and key forwards, we all know about their 3 big key forwards. Riley Thilthorpe, Taylor Walker and Darcy Fogarty, and they've been outstanding as a trio this season. You take out their last game against Hawthorn, where they combined, I think, for 0 goals, 8. They've been really good the rest of the season. Walker, Fogarty have both missed 1 game each, but Thilthorpe has played them all. Thilthorpe does rate as elite. He's the number 2 key forward in the competition so far this season on the All Aussie rules rating system. He's not there quite in the goal kicking at the moment, but in terms of just rating, yes, he is number 2, only behind Sam Darcy, who is the number 1. Taylor Walker, he's rating as top class. You look at his last few years, it's been a bit of a weird one, because 2023 he was outstanding. 2024 he dropped right off, and then looks to be back to his best this year, and probably likes the fact that he doesn't have to be number 1 key forward. He's got Riley Thilthorpe there. Darcy Fogarty, currently rated average, still 29th best key forward in the competition. As your 3rd key tall, that's really good. His best game of the year was against Collingwood. I think he kicked 4 that day. Probably hasn't been as consistent as he has previous seasons, but still going pretty solid. I think he's probably the big one in their forward line that could improve in the second half of the year. General forwards is probably the strongest medium general sized forwards lineup in the competition. Their top 3 there are absolutely outstanding. We've got Ben Keys, 14 games, rated as elite. He's the 4th best general forward so far this year. Pretty similar to where he was last year. He rated elite at the end of the season last year. He's having some really good football across the last couple of years, and a key reason why this Adelaide forward line has been so successful this year. Joshua Celli, he's played 11 games. He's also elite, just behind Ben Keys. 7th best general forward. He's having an outstanding season. Probably his best season so far of his career. Alex Neil-Bullen has joined the team, obviously joining from Melbourne. He's rated top class, 13th at the moment. I think he was elite at the end of last season, so slightly dropped off there, but I mean, as your 3rd general forward / midfield hitter at times, he's having a great season, no doubt about that. Luke Pedlar has only played the 4 games. Lachlan Murphy's only played the 2, and Zach Taylor, 7 games, currently below average rating for him. Moving into the midfield, we all know about Jordan Dawson. He's having an outstanding season. He's in Brownlow contention. He's having a season where his best games are certainly going to poll in votes. I don't think he's quite as consistent as some of the other big names that are rated above him at the moment. So he's 14th best in the All Aussie rules rating system, which puts him in top class. As I said, though, It's probably just a slight consistency thing for him. He doesn't quite have what some of the other players do, but he certainly is in Brownlow contention at the moment. And I mean, we'll see how that plays out. Isaac Rankin, he's had an outstanding year. Only rated average. He does spend a bit more time forward than most other inside mids. His best is absolutely outstanding. His average doesn't suggest that that's that great, but he certainly has. Jake Saligo's the same. He's probably another one that just lacks the consistency in there at times, but as a young midfielder, inside midfielder, I think he's got a bright future. He's definitely very good in the clearance game, and we'll see that continue to develop over the rest of this season and probably into next year. And as he moves towards potentially being their number one midfielder over the next couple of years. Sam Berry, he's played 8 games, currently unranked, but his rating looks pretty solid so far. Matt Crouch has played the 6 games. He's currently rated below average, 58th best inside mid, but as your second line of mids, that's pretty solid. James Peatling has come across from GWS. Hasn't been as good as perhaps I thought he might have been when he got there. He's had a couple really good games, but also had a couple quiet games. He's 59th best inside mid so far this season. Sid Draper, first year player. I have high hopes that this guy will certainly be a star over the next few years. We haven't seen a whole heap of him. I know it says there that he's played 9 games. It's nowhere near that in terms of playing half the game or more. He's been sub many times, but he's shown some potential in those times where he does get game time. Outside mids, another one that's joined them from GWS, Isaac Cumming, rated average 22nd best outside mid so far this season. He's putting together some pretty good numbers, had some really good games. Only rated average as an outside mid so far this year, but I mean, he's doing okay. Certainly as somebody that's joined the club, he's fitting in quite well. Daniel Curtin plays a wide variety of roles. All over the ground at times. Tall, midfielder, outside midfielder, forward back. He kind of plays it all. Ranked 24th as an outside mid though this season. Lachlan Scholes only played the 5 games. He's unranked. But he would be towards that below average category. And Luke Nankervis has played the 7 games. He is in the below average category as an outside mid. Jumping into the ruckman, Riley O'Brien. He's played every game. He's been their only real ruckman. They have obviously Thilthorpe pinch hit as their main second ruckman. O'Brien has been good. His rating is in average, 13th best ruckman in the competition so far this year. He hasn't been outstanding. He hasn't been bad though. I think he's been better than he was last year by a little bit. Certainly not as good as he was a couple years ago though. So that's how it goes though. We'll move into a positional analysis. Just have a look at where all the players rate across the field for the Crows so far this year. So most teams looking at about 2.5 elite players and 3.5 top class. So Adelaide certainly above that in both of those categories. No one in the above average category is crazy work though. But they do have 17 players average or better, which is pretty solid. Means that it's basically only their bottom 5 or 6 in their best 22 that currently are not rated average or better. So that's pretty solid when you compare it across the AFL. Key defenders, they've got 1 in top class and 1 in average, so pretty solid there. General defenders, 1 top class, 2 in average. Once again, pretty solid. Key forwards, we all know how good they are up there. 1 elite, 1 top class, and another 1 in average. So they're really, really good in the forward line. 2 elite, 1 top class. In general forwards, inside mids, at the moment, 1 top class, 2 average. But I think all 3 of those are capable of being top class and better. Jordan Dawson, Saligo, and Isaac Rankin. Outside mids, they don't have great numbers there at the moment, just the 2 in average category. And Ruckman, he's sitting in the average category. He is capable of maybe moving into above average, but at the moment, we're not really seeing enough for that from so far this year. Moving into what we've got left for the Crows in 2025. Little explanation here. Expected win percentage comes from our ELO rating system that we have for each team. Pretty much puts into a formula based on where they're at the time and where the game is, and spits out a win percentage that ends up giving us a total amount of expected wins and an expected ladder position at the end of season 2025. Round 15, they have the bye. That's this weekend. They come out of the bye with round 16 against the Tigers at the MCG. That certainly is a winnable game straight out of the bye. Round 17's Melbourne at Adelaide Oval, another winnable game. Round 18 against the Bulldogs at Marvel Stadium might be one of their toughest games coming home. They don't have the toughest run home, in all honesty. That one will be probably close to the toughest. Round 19's Gold Coast at the Adelaide Oval. They obviously met earlier this year. The Suns got them by a point, so that is a big game. Round 20 is the next showdown, Port Adelaide. That will be... Port Adelaide always turn up for those games, so that won't be an easy one. Hawthorn, round 21, also at Adelaide Oval. So 3 weeks in a row at Adelaide Oval. None of them easy games. 2 of them currently in the top 8. Another one in Port Adelaide trying to get themselves back into the finals race, which is a possibility. Who knows if it still will be at round 20. But that's another tough one against Hawthorn before they travel west for West Coast. That's certainly a winnable game with 3 weeks to go. Collingwood at Adelaide Oval is an interesting one. Collingwood come out quite heavy favourites in the system at the moment. And Collingwood have a good record against both Adelaide and at the Adelaide Oval. Those streaks are going to end at some point. But I think they are like 10 games in a row at Adelaide Oval and maybe 10 in a row against Adelaide. So... we'll see how that one plays out, but that will probably be a tough game for them, depending on how both teams are travelling at that point. Round 24, they finish with North Melbourne at Marvel Stadium. Travelling to Melbourne for the final game is probably not the easiest challenge, but North Melbourne, in a bit of a dead rubber for North Melbourne, certainly can be a winnable game. Should be a winnable game for the Crows. That gives them a total of 14.58 expected wins for the season, which would have them 4th on the ladder. As it stands, Collingwood and Geelong way out in front, and then there's about, 3rd down to 9th are all between 13.8 wins and 14.9 wins, so just over a win between about 6 or 7 teams. It's really quite tight in that range at the moment, so every single match, every single result is huge, especially when you're playing against other teams in that bracket, because it can be a 2-game swing. Adelaide don't have the hardest run home. They do play a few top 8 teams, obviously. Bulldogs are 9th at the moment, but that's certainly going to be in that chase. Gold Coast, Hawthorn, Collingwood, so there's 4, and Port Adelaide may be going to be in that race. Not the toughest run home, not super simple, but certainly should be winnable games. And in all honesty, looking at that, I would say that Adelaide would probably be pretty disappointed if they don't finish top 4. There's only maybe 2 games there that they don't start favourite for the rest of the season. That just tells you that they should have the opportunity to finish top 4 this season. I think Geelong also are pretty much in line for that. Similar sort of boat. They should probably finish top 4. And I mean, from where Collingwood are at the moment, with the amount of wins they already have, they might also be a team that you should be considering almost top 4. So 3 out of the 4 top 4 spots could be taken up from them. So there might not be too many opportunities for other teams. So it's going to be pretty important coming home. By no means those 3 teams locked in to the top 4, but they all have really good opportunities based on what they've done so far this season and what they still have to come over the remaining part of the season. That's everything we have for you today on the Adelaide Crows. As I said, there's plenty other mid-season reviews up on the channel already, so go check them all out. This is number 11 that we've done, so go check out the other 10. There's 3 more coming out this week. The 3 teams having a bye, I can't think of who they are off the top of my head. I know Hawthorn's one of them. They will be tomorrow's video, so go check that out. Podcast goes live twice a week. Go check that. That's on the YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. We review and preview every single match, every single week. Go check out the socials. Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Blue Sky, all of the above. All Aussie rules everywhere. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below where Adelaide will finish in season 2025. And I'll catch you on the next one.